Video. 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 Video.
Hey, bud.
Video.
What are you doing?
Video.
No. I'm the YouTuber, and you're the caricature that's supposed to be there for humorous purposes. I need to make a video about the Skull Merchant update, so can you please get up?
Video.
Yeah, I know. There's a clear comparison between you looking like me but not being me, and the Skull Merchant who now looks like her but won't play like her at all. I get the parallel there, but I still need to be the one to make the video, so you need to get up.
Video. 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 Oh!
Much better. Guess you could say he really wasn't a shoo-in to take over. Hi guys, how are you doing? Bran here, back with another commentary video. I'm sorry for all of you that kind of got lost in the sauce there when I started making all those Xenomorph videos, because we are back with another commentary video, back on track. So let's go ahead and get started, because there's some big news that came out earlier today, or yesterday for some of you, that the preview of the Skull Merchant changes is finally out, and it's led to quite a divisive reaction from the community, with some being excited for something new, something dynamic, something interesting, and some despising the changes, thinking they're a complete departure from the character, and some very, very unhelpful voices that are saying that the character should be deleted altogether. So let's go ahead and break that down and get into it. First off, what's changing about Skull Merchant, basically summarized. Skull Merchant is shifting from a trap killer to more of a projectile dash killer. Instead of the drone scans being the main use of the power to give her haste, to slow you down, to give injuries, now the scan lines are mostly just for info, and the Skull Merchant can enter into drone control, which allows her to try and literally drive the drones into survivors for a health state. Yeah, you're just like crashing into people to literally do damage, which is very interesting. There's also a secondary ability that she will now have, which will allow her to activate this, and anyone caught running while this ability has just been activated will be revealed on narrator. Think about red light, green light, red light, green light, red light, green light. That's essentially what it is. At a first glance, this seems like a pretty cool power, and you'd be right. It kind of is a really cool power. It's definitely at least really strong. It's definitely A tier, because you're going to be able to use the drones to drive straight into people, just kind of like a Victor pounce. As you guys know, if you have faced the twins before, you know Victor is very, very strong, and it's kind of more about hoping that Victor misses more so than it is Victor actually hitting you a lot of the time, which is be very, very frustrating. But regardless, it's a very, very strong ability to have, and this gets even more slug heavy when you realize that with the ability to track survivors using the drones now, and that's like their main power, now you can use the drones to track slugs. Supposedly, just based on what they have put out, that is something that the drones are able to do, and you can kind of see where that ends up. You drive the drone into somebody, knock them down, put a drone by them so you can monitor the slug. You're bleeding them out the whole time, and then you're going to go chase somebody else. This, at the very least, even if they do put this out after the whole everybody agrees to give up and surrender thing comes out, that's going to lead to a bunch of surrenders. And if you know anything about the previous Skull Merchant main communities that have existed before, you know they love making people frustrated and love making people give up. So I don't like the idea of where that's headed. People have suggested before the idea of making the drones do something more active, like being able to actually control the drones manually and make them do something. But I don't think turning it into a little Victor is what people had in mind, realistically. And something, also little Victor, like I mentioned, is something people historically do not like facing. So, yeah. I think in general, this is a major departure from the character's power, which in no way represents what she was before, specifically the Trap archetype. Right now, the Trap characters in the game are Trapper, Hag, and that's about it, right? You can make the arguments, bad arguments, you can make bad arguments that other killers are trap killers. But if we're strictly looking at killers who set literal traps around the map and use those remote traps to turn those into immediate damage, that aspect of the kit is going to be completely gone, and there's already so little of those characters in the game as it is, which is honestly like a bit of a shame, because not that the previous version of Skull Merchant before the mega nerf was fully fair and fun for both sides, of course not, but the fact that the amount of trap killers in the game is getting lower and lower is kind of sad. And speaking of sad, there's nobody more sad in the community right now than the Skull Merchant mains themselves. And we're not talking about the bad faith chess merchant mains. We're not talking about you, but the people who really got into her when she was B tier merchant and wanted to see a healthier version of her for both sides for the game. You see, B tier merchant's main issue was that there wasn't a whole lot you could realistically do against the character, especially the drone specifically inside chase. Many skull merchant mains would quote to you ridiculous strategies like, oh, just stand still mid chase. Just dance through the rays mid chase. Just crouch for a second mid chase. But realistically, the skull merchant's right behind you. You're gonna get hit. It's a hit-hit situation, it's a lose-lose situation, and it's what frustrated people the most about the killer. And many skull merchant mains themselves wanted this gameplay cycle to be healthier on both sides. But one of the things that made the new upcoming Xenomorph changes so nice is after they reverted the severe nerfs and they added some more changes, there were a lot of quality of life changes for both sides. Instead of focusing on either buffing or nerfing the killer overall, they focused on the experience of facing the Xenomorph in the game for both sides. This seems like another weird misdiagnosis from BHVR, opting to make Skull Merchant stronger by removing the trap aspect of her kit and replacing it with a pseudo rush slug killer in its place, when the main issue was just how it felt to face the character. The strength was fine, she didn't need to be stronger, she just didn't feel that good, and if you can make the character feel better from both ends, less people will complain. Like I said with the new Xenomorph changes that are coming through, when it comes to problem killers, more focusing on quality of life for both sides, both as the character and to face the character, is the healthiest path to adjusting quote-unquote problem characters in the game. Not nerfing them into the dirt, or not completely removing their kit, or buffing them to the sky. It's making them feel good from both ends. Now, I want to say two things with this, because I've already heard a lot of bad faith arguments from both sides, which usually happens in the Skull Merchant conversation. That's why I never want to make a video about this character again, but here we are. Just absolutely awful takes that do not serve to help either side of this conversation constructively in any way, shape, or form. First off, saying, bro, just delete the character is not constructive in any way, shape, or form. Let me say this with absolute certainty. They would never, ever, 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 ever delete a chapter. The closest we will ever get to that is when we lose the license to an IP. And even then, that's not losing the character in the game, that's just losing the ability to purchase skins or the character from the store. It would be a financial nightmare for BHVR to go through and refund everybody for every single Skull Merchant skin purchased, every single Skull Merchant actual chapter that was purchased, every single individual purchase of the character that was made. Or funding all of that would be a financial disaster. It is not going to happen. Say it with me. It's not going to happen. So please stop saying it. You are the most agitating individuals in this conversation, and you're making the community feel worse whenever this character is brought up because you are being unnecessarily rude and unnecessarily curt for no reason. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Stop saying, bro, just delete the character. Stop it. Quit it. Secondly, it hasn't even been 24 hours since these changes have been announced, and I've already heard a plethora of Skull Merchant mains who just didn't get it when it came to the hate for their character, swearing that they were always fine, whether that be a true merchant or even up until chess merchant. There's always been Skull Merchant mains saying that she has always been fine, and everyone has just always overreacted. I will say, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that is super disingenuous and leaving out the whole story on purpose in order to be self-serving. You're intentionally underselling the lack of counterplay this character has had historically, and you know it, so please be realistic. It's outliers like you that people will point to in arguments and say, see, these people are the reason why these changes are happening in the first place. It's not helping like you think it is, so please be honest, please be realistic, and if you truly do believe that there was nothing from this character wrong from the start or nothing wrong with B-tier merchant to begin with, please at least be empathetic and open-minded to those who believe otherwise. You are doing damage to a movement that wants to see a solid A to B tier character that feels fun to face on both sides. That is not a bad thing, so please temper yourselves and be a little realistic, be a little empathetic, because it is not going to help with this whole, it was fine the whole time, people were just complaining too much. That's not going to help anything, so stop it. Yeah, TLDR, the new Skull Merchant changes are neat, but are made for basically a completely different killer than the one that they are placing it on. It may draw some people who don't care for her to finally play her, but completely destroys the character for the mains that have traditionally enjoyed her and trap character fans that like trap characters in general. Ideally, we'd like to see her retain her trap character identity, but give a little leeway. That way she feels better to face on both sides. I also want to mention this little weird part that I was actually in the dev notes themselves, because I thought it was interesting. They say that they are introducing skill to the character when they're talking about the whole drone crashing mechanic thing, and that could be a rifle jab at the W key at the person under the drone gameplay that existed with B tier merchant. However, this could go in a different interpretation that would worry me, because it also reads as going for long-term macro play and trap placement and area control isn't considered as skillful as a quick snap projectile or rush killer is, which I don't believe to be a true statement like at all. And people that prefer winning through the long game and macro game deserve good and happy to play characters as well as anybody else with a projectile or rush killer. They deserve to play the long game and feel good for playing the long game and playing smart overall over somebody that just has good reflexes or knows when to go for a shot. Realistically, at the end of the day, all of these are valid ways to express skill, and one of these should not be seen as better or more enshrined by either the community or the devs themselves more than the other. But yeah, how do you guys feel about the proposed Skull Merchant changes? Do you think that the changes are fine as long as the kit is fun, or do you think that she should retain her identity as a trap killer and just be side graded into something more fun? Notice I didn't ask if you like Skull Merchant. That's because I don't want to know. Now, if I catch you down there sassing or being a rude ass to someone saying the whole delete Skull Merchant stuff, yeah, you know what's going to happen. So don't do it. Yeah, that's it for today's video, friends. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I made your day a little bit better today. But if I did not have the chance to do so, in the next video. And if I don't see you there, well, I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.